Monsanto has a terrific record in that regard. Recently they were fined $2 million by the US Security and Exchange Commission under the US Foreign Corrupt Practices Act for having bribed 93 officials of the Ministry of Environment in Indonesia for approving BT cotton. They have been fined repeatedly in various places in Canada and USA for having bribed officials all across the world for getting approvals of their genetically modified food. So they are a company which has adopted a policy. As a matter of policy, it's their policy to see if they can bribe somebody to get approvals. They do that. If they can't bribe, then other kinds of conflicts of interest are created, where grants are given either to those scientists for doing or not even doing some work, for supervising non-existent field trials or not supervising existing field trials, etc. Or in other cases, grants are given to their universities, to this agricultural universities. Most of them have become now are receiving large sums of money, and this is quite apart from all the foreign trips that these scientists are being given. In fact, there is an Indo-US Knowledge Initiative in agriculture. This is an agreement which was signed along with the nuclear deal in July 2005, was it? July 2005, between Mr. Manmohan Singh and George Bush. And this knowledge initiative provides that a board of 12 persons, in which 6 people will be nominated by the US government, 6 people will be nominated by the Indian government, that this board will control agricultural policy in India. And in this board, the US nominated Monsanto, they nominated Walmart. Walmart is one of those marketing companies which also markets these agricultural products. So therefore, the agriculture policy in India would be controlled by 6 people from the US, nominated by the US, who then nominated many of the representatives of these corporations. And in this whole knowledge initiative, lots of Indian scientists are being given free foreign trips, paid foreign trips. They are being taken all over. In fact, this ISAAA, I'm sure, is also taking people around on various foreign trips. So therefore, that is another source of creating conflicts of interest or among these scientists. So in fact, we have reached a situation where there are, in fact, there was a film made by this man, Tarje Travik, says that one of the greatest dangers, that Tarje Travik is a Norwegian, one of the foremost Norwegian scientists working in this field of genetically modified foods, etc. He says that one of the greatest dangers that I see emerging in this whole field today is that virtually all the scientists in the world are directly or indirectly working under the pay in the pay of these biotech companies. There are hardly any or very, very few independent scientists left who are not directly or indirectly receiving money or benefits from these corporations. So anyway, this is a very serious problem which needs to be tackled. Then of course there are these other aspects which Kavita has listed. That is, if there is a problem, suppose tomorrow, compensation. Suppose as a result of the release, in Bhopal for example, there was this huge accident which caused enormous damage, killed several thousand people, has basically rendered lakhs of people disabled or with permanent problems, etc. Just contaminated the soil and the groundwater of a large area. Now suppose it is found that one of these genetically modified, let's take BT brinjal for example, BT brinjal is cleared and it is thereafter found that it causes cancer or very serious allergies. And by the time that is discovered, it has already spread enough that it has contaminated all our normal brinjal and it is impossible to decontaminate that. It becomes virtually impossible. Who bears this cost? Under the normal principles of tort law, which say that if you bring something which is inherently hazardous and release it into the environment, then if any damage occurs, then you will be strictly liable. There will be a principle of strict liability which will apply. Now, the government of India, instead of forcing these companies to give undertakings to pledge assets in order to ensure that in case there is a problem later, that these companies will bear the cost of that damage that occurs, is on the other hand trying to do the exact opposite, that is bringing a bill which says that in case any foreign company does any business with some hazardous substance or hazardous organism in India, their maximum liability will be limited to $450 million, which is what Union Carbide paid for the Bhopal disaster, even though the damage that was